In this video, I'm gonna talk about Cuisineer. The story is as follows. Your parents ran off to tour the world with their fortune of money and left you saddled with a family economy in shambles and a monstrous debt that somehow is your responsibility to pay. All this while chastising your adventuring career in a Midwestern bless-your-heart kind of way, and then automatically assuming that settling down to run the family business is what you had been really wanting to do all along. You, deviant and ungrateful youth that you are, only needed to see the light, like a good little sheep strayed from the flock. Jesus Christ, the protagonist's parents are pieces of shit! Seriously, who does that to their own kid? Any more than this, and Afro Man writes a song about them. The government is of no help at all. It's easier for them to chase the kid around for back payments than to go on a worldwide manhunt for parents who have functionally committed fraud. The old people ruin everything, fuck off to a safe place, and leave the young people to pick up the pieces. I guess you need a premise, or otherwise, there's no video game. If the protagonist had just told the taxman to make a butt plug out of his debt and just help himself to his share of the estate when the parents kicked the bucket, then we'd have the credits rolling within 5 minutes. The protagonist, however, is a goody two-shoes who believes in doing the right thing. So you bet your ass that this gets exploited for maximum profits at her expense. The silver lining is that your parents, bless their hearts with extreme prejudice, are only some of the very few shitheads in your world. You can run a total disaster day in the kitchen where nothing goes right, and the negative feedback is both temporary and glossed over. On your tutorial day, you have nothing but one chair and one table to put to use in your restaurant, and you get to see a bunch of people in line lose patience and leave in a huff. Does that make it onto the scoreboard? Nope. The only thing you see at the end of the day is how many dishes you served and how much cash you bet. That's all. The other shithead turns out to be your best friend, who loves to speak in your stead and forcefully sign you up for things that you didn't want to entertain in the first place. But apparently you are not a person and what you say means nothing. You exist only when you provide resources to other people. If you've got any desires of your own, you're seen as a bag of cash waiting to be emptied. Your opinions don't matter. Even in the late stages of the game, you get thrown into situations not because you wanted to, but because somebody else decided to take over your life and control it. It would have been so easy to course correct on the storyline. I don't know in which country getting pushed into working for everyone else counts as comedy, but it hits way too close to home. Why couldn't the protagonist use her own volition and say, "Hey, parents, since you're retiring, can I scoop up the restaurant and keep it going? Maybe you pay some dues to renew permits or get approvals for expansion or something like that." It could have been done with zero changes to the gameplay. But, oh no, you're not a person. You will sit down, listen to your betters, and do as you're told. Other people will click on you and then right-click on their personal objective. That's what you are to those you call friends and family. Right, okay, suppose that I cast the premise aside and ostrich myself into thinking that everything is alright for a minute. That leaves the gameplay to deal with. That leaves the dungeon crawling, which can become a solid 15-20 minute affair if you go in with a fully expanded inventory. You want to fill your backpack with everything you can, right? Leaving early would be a waste. I feel a compulsion to really get the most out of my expedition. Maybe I'm just putting too much pressure on myself. Next, I've got to deal with managing the restaurant. That's pretty easy. No employees, just yourself and your cooking stations that operate entirely on telekinesis. All you gotta do is activate them, take payments, and sometimes deliver the food by hand to anybody with a crown on their head. It's just long. It's long as hell. 1 second in real time is 1 minute in game time. You wake up at 9 o'clock and the restaurant automatically closes in everyone's face at 11 p.m. So, doing a cooking day is going to keep you occupied for around a dozen minutes, non-stop. You can always close the restaurant prematurely if you want to, there's no penalty for it, but it would be a waste. I feel a compulsion to really get the most out of a cooking day. Maybe I'm just putting too much pressure on myself. Who am I doing this for anyway? And I mean, in character. Like, sure, the storyline is a classic doing it for others thing until you gather your courage and your self-respect and then you do it for yourself. Or not. First you do it because your parents set themselves for life and then pulled up the ladder. Then you do it because your friends decided to speak and make decisions in your stead. And then you do it to appease and gain the approval of a fat snob to whom I would have personally told to cannibalize her own pastrami mudflaps with my coldest regards. It's all wrong. I end my day and I feel like I wasn't entitled to the sweat of my own brow. The food I cooked got eaten by somebody else. The money I made went into somebody else's pockets. And my will belongs to everyone except myself. I am a Gestalt unperson brought into existence by the will of people who derive pleasure from control. It keeps going, and it never ends. I regret my decision to have gone so far into this, when my past experience in being Martin Walker should have taught me otherwise. Instead, I get abused every step of the way by people who claim that it's for my own good. Hey, after I'm done with all of this, do I get to have my soul back? Do I become a person worthy of my own sovereign identity? Can I finally enjoy having the privilege to tell somebody to get bent? Now that I no longer have any dues to pay to anyone, no job to fear getting fired from, no income source to upkeep at the cost of my own pride? Or are the goalposts gonna get moved on me? And then I have to keep at it and never know when I'll see the end, witnessing my personal devil disappearing into the horizon as he tells me yet again to meet him halfway. How many times do I have to endure someone calling me a piece of shit before I gain a respect that they never once intended to give me in the first place? I'll never get it out of them, so the only solution is for the respect to come from myself. And self-respect in this case is to walk away from this abusive, bullying, vampiric goal of a lost cause. In short, this game is the Republican Party. La patente tente de vendre